like to call to order the Town of McCandless Council's regular business meeting, September 23rd, 2019. Invocation is given by Councilmember Powers.
We gather together here today, intent on doing good work. We seek to represent fairly and well those who have given us this task. May our efforts be blessed with insight, guided by understanding and wisdom. We seek to serve with respect for all. May our personal faiths give us strength to act honestly and well in all matters before us. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is there a motion to approve the minutes from Council's committee meetings, agenda meeting, and regular business meeting of August?
So moved.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Are there any amendments or changes that need to be offered to the minutes? Hearing none. All those in favor of adopting the minutes as they are for August indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. Under announcements, we're an update for the Notorious North Hills events hosted by the Financial Development and Promotional Committee for the Heritage Center is on October 17th in 2019 at the Ross Barn at North Park, and there still are tickets available toward that. B, I'd like to announce something that we've been working on for quite some time. Is we've trying to address getting information out to citizens. Not everyone has computers, so we've been working to get our cable channel, the town's cable channel, up and running, and that is going to start tomorrow. I'm very happy to say. If you have Comcast, that will be channel 98, Verizon 33, Armstrong 210. So there'll be more information on our social media about that, but that's coming. So you don't have to be tech savvy to be getting information in the town. Carolyn.
Move to ratify the appointment of Michael J. Cavalier as a police officer for the Town of McCandless Police Department.
I second the motion.
There's been a motion and a second. Are there any comments? Any comments from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Administer the oath of office to Michael J. Cavalier as a police officer within the McCandless Police Department.
Good evening. I want to talk about Mike for a little bit and introduce you tonight. Michael Cavalier. Michael has been tenacious in his desire to become a McCandless police officer. Michael was born and raised here in the North Hills area and comes to the department with an extreme amount of impressive credentials. Mike obtained his bachelor's degree in criminology with a minor in sociology from Indiana University of Pennsylvania. He graduated from the Allegheny County Police Academy with special recognition awards in a number of things: physical fitness, academics, and firearms. He has served as a municipal police officer for the Ohio Township Police Department and also most recently as a sergeant with the Carnegie Mellon Police Department. Mike was highly recommended by his chief and his peers for all his specialized skills, professionalism, and enthusiasm and energy that he brings to his job every single day. Mike brings a wide variety of talents and training which will be invaluable to our McCandless community, including a patrol sergeant. He is also certified as a field training officer and a firearms instructor and a crime prevention unit manager. We look forward to welcoming Mike to the department and policing our area. I think he'll be an outstanding police officer for a lot of years for the town of McCandless. Michael, would you come up, please?
Okay, if you want to stand in front of me, raise your right hand, please. Okay, I, Michael J. Cavalier,
I, Michael J. Cavalier,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support,
that I will support,
obey,
obey,
and defend the Constitution
and defend the Constitution
of the United States and the Constitution
of the United States and the
of
Constitution
this Commonwealth,
of this Commonwealth,
and that I will discharge the duties of my office
and that I will discharge the duties of my office
with fidelity.
with fidelity.
Thank you. If you want to sign here, date that. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, Michael is a new father, and his wife is going to come up and pin his badge on.
Ladies and gentlemen, I started preparing something for tonight a while ago, and I decided kind of against that and took some advice from the chief, which I'm starting to learn how to do in my little bit older age now, and he said just speak from the heart, so that's what I'm going to do. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, council members, this means so much to myself, my wife, my family, who've had my support and my back for years. As you all know, I've been trying to gain employment with this township for a long time. There's a lot of reasons, and I could go into that, but I'm sure my wife by now is telling me to start thinking things through and wrap it up in less than a half an hour. Chief, I cannot begin to tell you what you've done for me means for me. I appreciate the value that you see in me. I promise you I will not let you down. Ladies and gentlemen, I make the same promise to you guys. This is a home away from home for me. I've spent so much time in this township, in this community since I've been a child. I love it dearly. I promise you I will protect and serve this place the best that I absolutely can for many, many years to come. Sergeant Madden, you already know. I've been talking on the phone with you for the last few weeks, several hours a day it seems like, and I really, really appreciate what you've done for me. I know you've had my back, and I know that all the time and effort and energy that has taken. So thank you. To my mother and to my very dear friend in the back and former coworker, thank you guys for everything. Don't think for a second that I don't know what this means, or don't think for a second that this doesn't mean the world to me. Everything from the babysitting to the support at work and all the extra hand and effort. And to my beautiful wife in the back, Samantha, thank you, honey. She has been my rock, and she has been pushing for me for many, many years now. Love her dearly, and my little man Wesley back there. Make you proud one day once you can stand or talk or something. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, once more, thank you very much.
Will the representative from the McCandless Community Association please come up? This is a certificate of appreciation from the McCandless Community Association in recognition for your commitment to enrich the lives of the town of McCandless residents as demonstrated by your generous contributions of community events, activities, engagement opportunities, and support for other nonprofit organizations, providing residents with a sense of belonging. Thank you so much for your hard work.
Make a brief statement.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you to council for recognizing the McCandless Community Association. Our mission is simple: to make the town of McCandless a better place to live by providing opportunities for community involvement. The organization was created just over 2 years ago by Cindy Walterman after severe flood damage in McCandless. At the time, there was no mechanism dedicated to the town to directly channel charitable contributions to community needs such as disaster relief, holiday and community activities, and perhaps someday a community center. Similar to Northland Library or North Allegheny receiving assistance from nonprofit foundations, McCandless Community Association strives to be a partner with the town to make our community stronger. In the 2 years of existence, we have provided a host of community activities to residents of the town at no charge. We have given numerous people the opportunity to volunteer their time to help create a stronger community. We hope going forward to be able to support additional programs for all residents of the town. Thank you.
At this time, we'd like to conduct the 2 final interviews for candidates for the position of the Activity Advisory Committee. Dawn Hart. You can stand over here if you'd like, or you can stand here, whatever you're comfortable with. So we have your, the way we do this is we have your application here before us.
Okay.
And if you have something short that you'd like to add or something additional, that you can do that. Otherwise, we'll go around asking questions. Okay.
I actually have raised my 4 children here in McCandless. I actually chose to live here in McCandless. I'm from another state. So I have been very active in my children's activities. Planned lots of things within our community that we live in a small Pine Run community, which I see my council person here that she knows about us. So I believe I would just enjoy planning for all age groups, from young to old, activities within McCandless.
Thank you. Bill, do you want to start us?
Sure. Ms. Hart, thanks for being here tonight. And I particularly like your suggestion of the food truck day and some of the other events you thought of.
Yeah, I think we don't need to reinvent the wheel. There's actually, we were just talking in the back where, I don't know if anyone saw it, where they have pumpkin races for dogs. Just fun activities that we can actually enjoy in our green areas, whether it's at North Park or in McCandless Crossing. There's lots of things to do.
Ms. Hart, one question. Can you tell this council, in your own estimation, how much time you believe commitment this will require of a member?
I mean, I hope it's going to. I hope it's going to be at least 10 hours a week or more, because I think planning is and it could be more, because if you're closer to an event or just in the skeleton part, I mean, I'm committed to making all events where we choose as a board successful. So I'm willing to do that. And I have a small business, a family business in Connecticut, which allows me to do these things. So.
Thank you so much. I have no further questions.
I have no questions.
Thank you for coming in. If you were chosen for this committee, would you, as coming up with ideas, would you be willing to go out and approach businesses or places to have these things?
Oh, absolutely. And I think everyone knows in this room that we are so blessed. Think about large corporations, from Whole Foods to Heifer Tilson. I mean, pet stores. I mean, I think that is a way that we can actually not only help reduce the cost of the citizens, right, to participate in these activities, but I think it also allows businesses, are you ready, to be invested into our communities. And so I think it's a twofold. So I think it's great for our residents, and I think it's also great for the businesses to be invested here.
Okay, thank you.
I don't have any questions. Thank you.
Greg?
This activity advisory committee is to develop and schedule activities and/or programs for the town of McCandless. You raised 4 children, your resume, and you confirmed that, and are currently active with Eden Christian
It's
Academy.
Eden Christian Academy, yes.
Yeah. Do you, this committee seems to be right down your alley. Is that an accurate observation?
Actually, yes, and actually, I not only did a lot of activities from, Historical Day and for kids. It's very hard for me to brag, but my company, Braxton Manufacturing in Connecticut, got the Community Service of the Year in Connecticut. So I also help plan things like runs for runs, baseball teams. So we do a lot of community service in Connecticut as well. So I'd love to bring that to McCandless.
Okay, thank you, Don.
So based upon your past experiences, what would be looking forward, what would be your number one goal to accomplish?
I actually, there's lots of them, but I also would like, as a parent, we always say, oh, this would be great for kids. I would like to envision a couple activities that would be family-based, like a family-based, not just for young kids, not just for old. I just think as a McCandless, as I was saying in the back, we are very unique because we have small neighborhood schools that are awesome, that allow neighborhoods to grow. And so we have a lot of families, and I think everyone wants family time. So we can kind of actually have events that are family-oriented rather than just, young or old. I think that would be a blessing to our community.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in tonight. I think it's exciting to anticipate your participation as well as the other people who are likely to be chosen here. Is there any particular item that you want to achieve, anything you want to achieve in particular? Say, you just mentioned the family, involvement with families. Is that your number one?
Not my number one, but I think, there's lots of community stuff. You could do pumpkin carving. Maybe we could actually get giant eagle or coons, or we can have a dog run. I just think that if we could allow families to get together, because most of the time, I know everyone knows that families do lots of things together, but mostly on the sports field. How many people are always watching sports? And it would be nice if we can figure out a way, the 7 members that are on this board, that we can really think out of the box and look at other places that people do, okay, and figure out what would be great for family time. Because that's what everyone really wants, doesn't it?
Thank you very much. That's the only question I had.
All right.
Any other questions from anyone in council? Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Oh, hey, thank you for your time. And I really have to say, my mother was in ICU last week, so I greatly appreciate you allowing me to interview for this position. Thank you. And by the way, she's out of ICU today, so that's
Shannon Yeckel? Is that close?
Hi, I'm Shannon Yackel, and also you had to reschedule, so thank you. That was
Okay.
kind of last minute.
Well,
I had to
we
travel.
appreciate you being flexible and coming into the meeting. I hope it's not too intimidating, you standing there. It
A
looks
little
like
bit.
you're-
I'll just look this way.
you're-
So,
So the same thing, we have your application here.
Okay.
So if you have something addition that you want to tell us, and otherwise, we'll just ask whatever questions we have for you.
okay. I have my resume, which I can pass to you guys as well. But so just a little bit about me. So I graduated from North Allegheny. I grew up in Franklin Park. So this is basically not the same. I understand I'm in McCandless, but just, this has been my neck of the woods too, forever. So I have 3 kids, 10, 7, and 3. I'm just catching my breath because I had to take 2 one place and drop off another to another place. So just tonight alone before I got here. So they're involved in a ton of activities. My son plays soccer and baseball for IFPLL and NA Soccer Club. My daughter swims for NA. So and then the 3-year-old, we just drag her everywhere. So she'll be ready to go when her time's up. But I currently work for Dick's Sporting Goods. I'm the Director of Real Estate Development. So I negotiate leases, work on all the new stores throughout the country. I worked on McCandless Crossing. So I was here before you guys a couple years ago, trying to get that site approved. I've been there for 11 years. So before that, I worked at Upper St. Clair Township. So I was my last job there was the Community Development Director. So I worked on all different kinds of things. I worked on their comprehensive plan. I worked on the community recreation center. My name's actually on the plaque inside the building, which I think is kind of cool to go back and see. So worked on that from the beginning to the end. So really worked with the commissioners and the community to understand what the township needed, what they needed in terms of recreation and just everything from beginning to end. Let me see what else. I sat on the Planning Commission for Pine Township when I lived there briefly, and then decided we wanted our kids to go to NA. It was hard to put other colors on my kids since I went to NA too, so moved back here in 2006. So been here ever since. I don't know, that's kind of thrown all over the place, but if there's any questions you guys have.
Bill?
Shako, I love your enthusiasm. And your resume speaks for itself. It's incredible. I can just, the enthusiasm bubbling over, planning director for Upper St. Clair. I have no further questions. I'm just grateful that you applied for our position.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
I have no questions either.
Thanks.
Thank you for coming in. I'm impressed with your experience. Do you have, in your mind, if you were chosen for this committee, do you have anything uppermost that you would like to see in McCandless that we don't have now?
I think there's a lot of opportunities. I think in being at Upper St. Clair and being so invested in the municipalities that worked there, they offered so many different things for their community in terms of just the activities and just different programs like movies in the park or whatever. I know a lot of communities do that, and to speak to the person before me, I mean that's to bring the family out, because right now it's my son can only play this, my daughter does this, and then the 3-year-old is dragged around everywhere, so she's always the spectator. So things like that, so you can bring the families together, I think is good. The other thing is just really to get a sense of community. I think there's too many things that are pulling people away from the municipality. So I think to offer that here would be a benefit to keep people here and to keep them invested in our own community. I think a lot of that is really important. There's not really one, not trying to go around your question, but I think there's just a lot of opportunities we have. I don't think we should reinvent the wheel. I think many communities would be happy to share the things that they do. Everybody's always willing to help other people and try and get their communities to feel as proud of theirs as they are and the programs that they run.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
I have no questions.
I read your resume, and it is very impressive, as Bill Kirk, Councilman Kirk said. But my main question is, do you feel you have the time to make these committee commitments?
I don't know how I get everything done in a day. People that I work with are like, how do you do all that before you even go to bed? I don't know how I do it, but it's just something, I don't know. I don't sit. So, I do. I think that I can multitask really well. And so I do think I would have the time, especially if it's something that I'm so interested in. And I think, with my kids, it's what's making it right for them and making sure that they get everything that they need to get. And I think it's important to have it close so we're not running them all over the place to do that. So,
Okay. Thank you, Sharon.
thanks.
I don't have any questions. Thank you.
I have no questions. At the risk of being repetitive, I did carefully read your letter to the members of council and your extensive, extremely impressive resume. And I must say, you've got a wealth of experience that I think fits in very nicely with what we need. I'm sure you'll be able to make an excellent contribution to the organization. And in spite of all the other things that pull you, those 3 kids, those are, of course, the most important thing you're doing. But, we look forward to a continuing association. Thank you.
Thanks.
Anyone else have another question? All right, thank you so much.
Thanks.
Just a short explanation pertaining to number 10. Because this is a newly established committee, we are going to be nominating and voting on the entire body of the committee tonight. That's 7 members. And the way this was set up is that there would be 1 representative from each ward. And the way we thought best to do this is the council member that represents that individual ward will make that nomination. So we drew straws in the true spirit of fairness before we came out here to see which wards would have the 2-year terms and which ward would have the 4-year terms. So there are 4 4-year terms and 3 2-year terms. We didn't want everything turning over all at once. That's how we do it on most of the boards. So having said that, the way we're going to state these nominations is also a little bit different, but bear with us. We're going to go by wards. So I will start first, and I'm going to move to appoint Concetta Slanders to the 2-year term of the Activities Advisory Committee to commence on October 1st, 2019, and to expire September 30th, 2023. Oh, that's right, 21, because we changed that. 21 for Ward 1. She'd be the representative for Ward 1.
I second the motion.
There's been a second and a motion, and is there any comments from anyone? Any discussion from anyone at council? Any comments from any of the citizens? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, Concetta is the Ward 1 representative for the Activities Committee.
Madam President, I move to appoint Elizabeth Blackburn to a 4-year term of the Activities Advisory Committee to commence on October 1st, 2019, and expire on September 30th, 2023.
Second?
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Is there any discussion from council?
I'd just like to say that, this was a tough decision. I had 3 extremely qualified people, all long-term residents, all heavily invested in our community, and it was hard for me, and I hope that the folks who weren't selected tonight, who weren't nominated, will come back and apply for other appointments. They certainly are worthy of serving this town in some capacity. But Libby, as most folks know her here, Elizabeth, has lived here all her life. She was a scholar and a respected athlete in North Allegheny growing up. She went on to earn her degree in English while managing an NCAA championship swim team at Kenyon College. And though Libby's now retired, she's a tireless volunteer. And I think, most importantly for me, I think she represents the bridge that we need to bring together and coordinate the school assets, the school district assets with our town assets to the benefit of all our citizens so that we can work together as governments. And something that I wanted to do from the time that I became a councilman was to get our governments to work better on behalf of our citizens. So I think she'll make an extraordinary member of this advisory committee, and I also appreciate the enthusiasm that she demonstrated in the interviews. Thank you.
Well, I couldn't agree less with Councilman Kirk. I urge the rest of the council to reject this appointment. I have never known anyone in my entire life to make more false statements than Libby Blackburn does. She's intentionally misleading, pathologically, and habitually dishonest. I heard her, just on election day, tell more than 100 people that she was a Democrat when she's one of the most conservative people in the town. I have never heard anyone lie more. The only time I hear her say something honest is when she tells you what her name is, which she's very, very proud to say. I can't imagine a worse choice for this position.
Any more comments from council?
disagree respectfully with what Steve has outlined. I've known Libby for quite some time, not extremely well, but she always seems to be a very enthusiastic, hard-working person, and that's why I seconded the motion. I think she's quite capable and has demonstrated that in her other activities over the years. Has two almost grown young men, sons. I think she'll do a good job. If elected, she'll do a fine job in my opinion. Thank you.
My opinion on this is that Ms. Blackburn is very involved in the school board, and I'm for getting more citizens involved, citizens who aren't involved in some other way. So she is very involved. So I saw this as an opportunity to allow someone who wasn't involved to get involved. So that's why we've made our appointment policy the way we have, to allow more people to participate. So I would like to see someone who doesn't have a position at all become involved, really. Any other comments? Any comments from any citizens?
Jason Singer, 8314 East Van Buren Drive. I've known Libby for a little over a year, tireless in volunteerism, and I would hate to see the comments made by Councilman Mertz and this be a political choice. Libby and anyone you talk to and ask to is a tireless volunteer. She'll do anything and everything she can to help this committee, and anything short of that would be a disservice to this committee. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from any citizens? All right, hearing none. All those in favor of appointment of Elizabeth Blackburn indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Nay. Roll call?
Ward 2,
Aye.
Ward 3,
Nay.
Ward 4,
Aye.
Ward 5,
Aye.
Ward 6,
Nay.
Ward 7,
Aye.
Ward 1.
Nay.
Motion passes.
The motion passes. Ms. Blackburn is appointed for a 4-year term for Ward 2. Ward 3?
Move to appoint Shannon Yeakel to a 2-year term to the Activity Advisory Committee to commence October 1st, 2019, and expire September 30th, 2021.
Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any comments by anyone from council? Any citizen comments? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Ward 4?
I move to appoint Jennifer Shuckrow to a 2-year term on the Activity Advisory Committee to commence on October 1st, 2019, and expire on September 30th, 2021.
I second the motion.
Okay.
Might have been slightly heavy
Counselor?
there, but I seconded it. Thank you.
Bill really wants the second. Okay. Any comments from anyone on council?
None.
Any comments from any citizens? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I move to appoint Christine Shipley to a 4-year term on the Activity Advisory Committee to commence October 1st, 2019, and expire on September 30th, 2021.
I second the motion.
There's a motion and a second. Any comment from any council members? Any comment from any citizens? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Ms. Shipley is appointed to represent Ward 5. 6?
I move to appoint Don Nelson Hart to a 4-year term on the Activity Advisory Committee to commence on October 1st, 2019, and expire on September 30th, 2023.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Are there any comments from anyone on council? Any comments from any citizens? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ms. Hart is the Ward 6 representative. Ward 7?
I move to appoint Terry Seaman to a four-year term on the Activity Advisory Committee to commence on October 1st, 2019, and expire on September 30th of 2023.
Second?
Second the motion?
There's a motion and a second. Comments from anyone on council? Comments from any citizens? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Motion passes. Reports from committees, Finance, and Personnel Committee.
I move to approve checklisting number 9 dated August 8th, 2019 through September 4th, 2019, totaling $671,258.41 as submitted to each member of council and posted on the bulletin board and town website.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, this has been before council for almost the whole month. It's been on the website. Any comments, questions from council? Any comments or questions from any citizens? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Number 2 is acknowledgement that the town has received its minimum municipal obligation, MMO, for its police and phased-out non-uniform defined contribution pension plan.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, there's a motion, a second. Any questions about this? You wanna speak?
I was gonna say, the good news is that the minimum municipal obligation actually went down for this year, so it's a step in the right direction.
Any other comments, anyone on council? Any comments from any citizens? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's acknowledged.
Madam President, I move to accept the resignation of Penny Ann Irby, a member of the McCandless Franklin Park Ambulance Authority, effective December 31st, 2019.
Second. Okay, there's a motion and a second. Any comments? Anyone on council? Any comments from any citizens? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resignation accepted. That will be posted with the interviews. This is another position on the ambulance authority that will be available for the interviews, the upcoming interviews. Public Works.
Move to reject all bids for the Grubbs Road sidewalk project.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to reject the bids for the sidewalk. They all came in over budget, and we are committed to staying within our budget and having control of our spending. So we had to reject all those bids.
And we're going to try to get our own people to start on the project.
Right. Mark Sabinas said that there's some time that Public Works can do some of that work, and so we can get those numbers down. So possibly we can still proceed with that, but like I said, we are committed to staying within that budget. Any other comments?
No, I think that, Madam President, I think that's a good strategy. The town employed the same strategy when they were building the Heritage Center to reduce the cost there as well by using resources in-house. And I think that's a good way to go forward at this time.
Any other comments? Any other comments from citizens? Hearing none. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Bids are rejected. Zoning Committee.
Move to approve the preliminary and final subdivision application for the plan known as Blazer Drive Subdivision Plan Number 3 for McCandless Square Senior Housing LLC located on Blazer Drive, formerly the Trader Horn Valley Fitness Center property as per project 190976, pages 1 and 2, prepared by the Civil and Environmental Consultants dated June 27th, 2019.
I second the motion.
There's been a motion and a second. Any comments by anyone in council? We've been looking at this for several months. It's gone through planning. A lot of work into it.
Happy to see that it's moving forward.
I think we all are, yes. Any comments from any citizens? All right, hearing none. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Move to approve the master plan and preliminary and final land development application for the plan known as McCandless Square Senior Living for McCandless Square Senior Housing LLC for a three-story personal care home and a 13 one-story two-family dwellings located on Blazer, formerly the Trader Horn Bailey's Fitness Center property, as per project 190976, prepared by the Civil Environmental Consultants, Inc., dated April 2019, with the latest revision being August 29th, 2019.
I second the motion.
There's been a motion and a second. Are there any comments from anyone in council? I'm hearing that they're looking at, once this passes, breaking ground in October, so they're wanting to get busy. So that's good to hear. Any comments from any citizens? Please come up to the microphone.
John Harrison, 1473 Hedwig. A couple questions come to mind. When they do break ground and they do discover what's underneath the asphalt, who's on the hook for paying for the cleanup?
I've had discussions with them. They have done underground studies, and they did a phase 2 and found that there wasn't anything in the phase 2 that indicated that they would need to do further cleanup.
Okay. So when they break ground and they do find something else, they're on the hook for the cleanup?
Yes, it would not be us.
There's a bond in place to go and support that? Or
We're not involved in that. That's entirely a DEP.
Okay, so the DEP is the one that's going to have to enforce the
Yes.
cleanup?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Bruce. Any other comments? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Move to adopt resolution number 23 of the 2019 series, a resolution for the sewage plant module for the previously approved Sheets development located on 131 Montclair Avenue, 8500 Perry Highway, 8510 Perry Highway, and 8518 Perry Highway. This was reviewed by McCandless Township Sanitary Authority and Alcosan for adequate capacity.
I second the motion.
There's been a motion and a second. Are there any comments or questions from council? Any comments or questions from any citizens? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Under new business, I'd like to appoint Carolyn Swagger to be the liaison for the new activities committee. Any other new business? This is the time for public comment. This is the time when you can speak on any subject. It doesn't have to pertain to any of the items that are listed on the agenda. If you'd like to come forward, please come up to the microphone, say your name. Okay.
Hi, good evening. Steve Scheidler, 9534 Park Edge Drive. I'm here again about the animal issue up on Park Edge Drive. Last council meeting, Gavin, I was able to present you with some information and different ordinances around the state. And I was wondering if I could get a little bit of feedback on what your, what information that you may have for me.
I don't have any additional information for you at this time.
Okay, so the next question I have, Kim, is where do I go from here? We've been to a number of council meetings here. I think one of the, and we do appreciate the fact that you took the time to analyze the fine situations. You have increased those, but it didn't really address the main issue, which is really the number of pets and the control of those pets. I have a neighbor with over 20 animals that roam freely throughout the neighborhood, and there's nothing I can do about that.
Roaming freely about the neighborhood is a nuisance violation, and
Right.
that can be addressed.
Okay.
It's difficult to put a number on pets because enforcing that becomes something that's difficult. We don't want to get into the business of knocking on the doors and counting people's pets. If you can have 6 good dogs or 1 bad dog. So council has made the decision to treat this under the nuisance as opposed to addressing the number of pets.
Okay.
And that is the choice that we have consciously made.
Okay, so you're saying nothing else will be done then?
I'm saying that right now, we're going to stick with what we have and see how it goes.
And see how it goes?
Right.
Okay, so you're gonna allow our neighborhood to turn into something like maybe what happened down in Ross Township more recently, where there was a pet hoarding issue.
I don't think so.
I-
I don't think we plan on
You-
allowing that. I think we plan on stopping that from happening again. While we can't necessarily work on the pets, the police aren't going to take the report and push it away or do anything there. This is gonna be taken a lot more seriously.
Okay, but then again, there's no limitation on the number, so then how do you prevent that? This is the challenge that I'm trying to understand
It's a
and
big challenge,
rationalize.
but where do you go, somebody with 20 fish,
Well,
for example, is not, I understand fish is an extreme, but this is the one person in the township. All of this
Absolutely.
is about one person in the whole township who's grossly overstepped her bounds.
Yes.
And as far as I can control, and as far as the officers I've talked to about it, everyone plans on being extremely serious about never allowing the running free vicious animals, things like that. But I can't imagine somebody who takes care of whatever it is, 3 dogs and 5 fish and 10 cats and whatever, 2 butterflies. That person's not hurting anybody. And I hate to.
I can understand that. I think, one thing I would ask you to consider is that, using police action as a focal point to instill a number on dogs is something that has been done many, many times over in the country, and it has legal bearing to it. And it's something that can be done by this council to help support the citizens in the township. Nobody else has this problem but my neighborhood. I don't understand why it can't be just controlled.
But what
with a
would
number.
you think the number should be? Because I've been contacted by more than 30 people who said they have more than 10 pets.
I'm talking about dogs.
I understand. Well, they didn't actually discuss with me what their pets were.
I would prefer that we talk in terms of just dogs. And that, I think, is where I think we can, 5 dogs, you want to have 26 kids, 20 kids running around? I don't understand why this can't be limited. And I'm going to continue to press the issue every council meeting for as many 5-minute opportunities that I get moving forward. I would really appreciate it if each and every one of you would come and drive by my house and park there for an hour, just to see the chaos that's being created in my neighborhood.
I understand your neighborhood, just so you.
I'm not sure if you understand.
Well, no, because my ex lives in your neighborhood, and so does my best friend.
Okay.
And actually another good friend who lived up here on the hill, lives in
Okay.
Saratoga and walks the dogs and has told me stories too. And I think, because I've talked to plenty of, I'm trying to reach out and just even talking to Ross, they have a limitation, and even with the limitations, they can only go so far. And they've been dealing with that as resident from what it sounds like almost over 10 years, that had 117 dogs. And I can go into details, but my whole point is we can set all these rules, but like Kim said, we can't go into their house and say, can you show us how many dogs you have? Like, that is the hard part. How do we enforce these things? And I think the best part, which we've all gone and said, is let our police call. If their dogs are running, call the police and let them come and do their job. I'm trying, we're all trying here. I just don't know what else. None of us have come up with a magic number, you know.
There is a way. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Scheidler, what was your address on Park Edge?
534, immediately across the street from the subject property.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
My name is Joe Marple. Same issue, 9499 Catherine Drive. What's allowed in a residential area? This is not a farming community. One farm left in McCandless. These people need to be in Butler. This is enforceable. To say it's not enforceable, Pittsburgh enforces it. If I was in Fox Chapel trying to have a kennel, it would never happen. It is very enforceable. Westview is over too. If you had 20 dogs next to your house, don't tell me you wouldn't be upset. They'd be barking all the time. The people in Ross Township called the cops numerous times. They all said 24 times. Nothing was ever done. Dr. Koo, or Mr. Koo, last week stated, or last meeting stated, that he put that gate up and you could go around it easily. But that's never been the case. Asked any of the policemen. They would never let you on the say he was lying. That's the reason. There was no other reason for this gate, is to keep you off the property. The fireman went in the house, and the house is unlivable. Look at the reports from the police, from the fire, and go over them. They couldn't move from the clutter. She's a clutter hound. The mess, it's unsanitary, and it ain't healthy for the animal. So let's get back. Can I have 20 pigs? Huh? Can I have 20 cattle? So if I decide, every one of our neighbors in our neighborhood decide, hey, I'm going to have 20 animals. I'm allowed 26, actually. So the question is, I agree with him. If it's in a residential area, in a neighborhood, this is no longer the country. This is no longer a farming community. This is a community. The houses are close together. They're ruining our value of our property. It's affecting our property. And you say nothing can be done. It's done in many parts of the country, like Steve said. And it's a general rule. If she's licensed, now she has to be inspected. After a certain number, and it's very enforceable, a lot of them have 5. After 5, then you have to have a license. If you have to have a license, now you're open for inspection. Twice a year, unannounced. The way she's going to do it, when she rebuilds up there, she's going to build a fort. Boy, that's going to look nice on our neighborhood. You see what she did to the house she just moved into on Reinhardt Road. She's going to put a big fence around the whole place, and she's going to get a dog pound up there, barking in a residential area. So now I decide I'm going to put horses. I want 20 horses on my property. Am I allowed to do that? What is allowed in a residential area? And this is no longer 1927. There's one farm, like I said, Eichner's Farm. If she wants to have a great number of dogs, then she should be in Butler. And if I call up Ohio State University, which I'm going to do, and I've called different people, a person can only take care of so many animals. People have other things to do. The doctor certainly ain't helping because he's working and he has to sleep. So it's unhealthy for the animals. And then there's the issue of the pit bulls. She got them in packs. Okay, when these pit bulls, and she sigs them on people, and some little kid gets killed, you talk about being responsible. It's been brought up to you people, you're going to be liable with Edgar Snyder or whoever it is in a lawsuit because there's a danger there, and you're ignoring a danger. Dogs in themselves are not threatening, but in a pack mentality, as humans or anything, given a wrong lead or the wrong influence, can attack, and pit bulls are one of the worst, and they're outlawed in a lot of communities. But I'm not against pit bulls, but I'm against the way she handles things, and she's a terror. And I want to thank you for your time, and I want to thank you for passing the ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you for your
Jack Owen, 9528 Park Edge Drive. I've been here before, and I live right next door to Mr. Scheidler. And I live right across the street from the house in question that we're all talking about. And I don't want to talk in generalities, but specifics are that there's 2 chickens in that yard right now as we speak. I saw them with my own 2 eyes yesterday. I saw them a month ago. Are chickens allowed? If chickens are allowed, as somebody else said, when am I allowed to put pigs in my yard? Are we a farm? Is this a farming residential area now that we can have whatever we want? You know, maybe Mr. Markle suggested Butler. Well, if you want to have bison, maybe Alaska would be a good place. But it isn't a good place in McCandless to have it. There's a bathtub in the front yard to feed deer. On the way here tonight, on my way home from work, coming into my neighborhood, 20 deer. I don't think it's a coincidence that there's a bathtub, that there's weeds growing, that they're feeding in that yard all the time. That's going on right now. There's no dogs there, but right now there's issues, and it's just going to get worse. The neighbors in the new place on Riker Road are calling and complaining about barking dogs. That's McCandless. She bought another house in McCandless. I don't know what we have to do to convince you people that we need an ordinance. We don't need an animal sanctuary, which is basically 2 acres, which are full of deer. If you go over there right now, you will walk and see, if you go to Mr. Nolan's house, which is right next door, across the street from me, right next door to the Coo House, you will see 20 deer and, in the woods or thereabouts. The deer are, I don't think the deer and the number of deer that we're having, and we've known other communities have had the same issue. It's going to get worse. And you're going to have accidents, you're going to have people dying over the deer. We had the Ross dog lady, 100 dogs in a house. Are we going to allow that? The police had to go in with gas masks due to the feces and the urine. Are we going to allow that to progress to that like they did in Ross? And when you look at Park Edge Drive, what happened was on January 27th, we're talking 9 months ago? Not that long, right? 9 months ago, how many dogs died in that fire on 9531 Park Edge Drive? I love dogs. I had dogs all the time when I was growing up. I've never killed a dog. We can't allow this number of dogs and people to mistreat them. That's mistreatment of the animals right there. 20-some dogs, the firemen pulling out dead dog carcasses. They moved to McCandless. Dr. Coo said himself, last time he was here, he moved here because there's no ordinance on the number of dogs that are allowed. I don't know what we have to do to convince you people that we need a dog ordinance, but we need a dog ordinance. You want to ignore it? I appreciate the fact that you did increase the fines. I said last time that was a good step in the right direction, and I commend you, but I think we need to give the police more specific direction as to what's allowed rather than just whatever. Thank you. Appreciate your time and for listening. I know you're probably getting tired of me.
Your comments are always welcome. Any other comments? Step up.
John Harrison, 1473 Hedwig. I don't live in the neighborhood where the problem is, but I do live in a neighborhood that does have issues with cats. And there is a lady that lives at the bottom of our hill that does have numerous cats. You normally can count how many cats there are by how many are laying dead on the road. And while we're sitting here talking, you guys are talking and going over this, I went and Googled what the city of Pittsburgh does. City of Pittsburgh actually has a pretty nice ordinance. It's actually very clear, very straightforward. I recommend council people to read it. I will actually forward it to you after this. But in gist of what it is, they have a limit of 5 animals per household. By doing that, It could be, as Steve said, 5 fish. It could be 1 fish and 3 chicken. Well, not chickens, because chickens are illegal in the city, but they could be cats, dogs, whatever. They also go into saying that, which if it's in the law, that means, or in the rules, that means somebody tried doing it. The first thing on their list, ownership guide, you cannot own, harbor, or maintain a non-domestic canine such as a pure wolf or wolf mix in the city of Pittsburgh. And then it just goes on as it says. And there are regulations as far as if you have a dog that has had puppies, you have 10 days from the birth date of those puppies to get those registered within the borough or the city of Pittsburgh. As you go on down through the ordinance, it also has regulations for cats. If your cat is in heat, you need to keep it inside the house so that it does not get pregnant and have more kittens. Nuisance violations is all, I mean, they have these, there's 4 titles. Ownership guide, very straightforward. Dog regulations, cat regulations, nuisance violations. Frequent and habitual barking, howling, screeching, yelping, and baying by a dog or cat or other animal is considered a nuisance animal. I think everything we heard here tonight qualified for that. Allowing for animal to create offensive odors, excessive noise, or unsanitary conditions which are considered dangerous to health, comfort, and safety of the public. I think we've qualified all of everything that was said there. So if we have saying that we can't put something in place is a bunch of crap, which is what these people are dealing with. So I think we put a fine in place to somebody that the fine is not going to make a difference. But if you start hitting them where they have limitations on what they can do, it can make a difference, and it can make a difference for these people in this neighborhood. It sounds like since they bought another house, you're now going to have another neighborhood that it won't be long that they'll be coming in here complaining too. So at what point do we have to have how many neighborhoods in here complaining before we put something on the books? And Gavin, I'm sorry, but you saying you don't have an answer for what he said, I'm going to tell you what you did when you left here. You threw it in your briefcase and probably never came out and never looked at it. That's crap. Represent the people. Thank you.
I do have to say, since you said represent the people, I asked the people. I got a 98. I got like a 98% response against regulating the number of animals. 98% of the town does not want this. I understand these people have a horrible situation.
This is not a debate.
Okay.
You make comments, this is not a debate. Thank you. Any other comments for any citizens? Public comment time. Hearing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
After adjourning, council will meet to discuss personnel matters in executive session.